Welcome to the Space in Between podcast, a series where we will talk about everything and anything mental performance in a bite-sized fashion.
My name is Sienna and I'm here with Frida. We are both certified mental performance consultants from Ireland and from Sweden. On this podcast, we share our knowledge and passion for all things sport and performance psychology. This includes all things mindset, exercise, sport, everyday life, and insights into how we help ourselves and others with developing our mindset. So what are we talking about today, Frida?
We're going to talk about why body language is a separator.
All right. Sounds exciting.
It is exciting.
Yeah.
It's a good topic.
Yeah.
I feel like it's something that, but maybe I'm just biased because I'm in this field, but I feel like it's something that's talked about a lot, but maybe not taken in by people.
Yeah, I feel like it's something that you know by watching someone perform in their sport, whether they have like helpful or unhelpful body language, but we don't necessarily talk about it that much, like how we should hold ourselves.
Yeah, and not even just in sport, but just in everyday life, because we obviously see people's body language all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. This is a good one, yeah.
We're going to get into it.
Yeah.
So why is it a separator?
So our body language is a separator because it consists of 93% of our communication. And when I say that, like verbal is 7% and then tone and body language is combined basically. But the majority of that is your body language of the 93%. And it's something that we can control, so it's controllable. It increases your confidence and it decreases your stress. And it's also linked to positive results. And we're kind of going to dig deeper into these 4 things that we just quickly mentioned here and how that can relate to you and to sporting performances and etc.
Yeah. So the first one we're going to talk about is communication. So like Frida said, nonverbal communication makes up 93% of how we communicate with each other and with the world around us.
Yeah.
And that includes our tone and our body language. And a saying that we always come back to when we're working with people is, I can't read your mind, but I can read your body language. So thankfully we can't tell what's going on inside someone else's mind, but we can tell a lot about how they're feeling and maybe what they're thinking sometimes based on how they look.
Yeah. And I'm sure many people can relate to when we're saying that we can look at people and say, oh, that person seemed to be confident right now, or maybe it looks like they're nervous, and vice versa, right? Because there are certain things when it comes to our body language that stands out to us as humans. So I suppose one of the first things that we want to talk about is, well, what would that body language be? Like, what does it look like to have powerful body language? How can you make it a separator that works in your favor?
Yeah. And a simple way that we have talked about it is like powerful body language is simply making yourself big. So for example, standing with your feet shoulder width apart, standing with your chest out, standing up as tall as you can, keeping your chin up, eyes forward. If you're speaking to someone, you're making eye contact. Hands are maybe by your sides, not folded. So you're taking up as much room as you can. You can even think about doing like a superhero pose nearly, you know, when your fists are on your hips and you're standing nice and tall. So that would be a good image of powerful body language.
Yeah, I mean, think about a superhero and their superhero pose. That is powerful body language.
Yeah.
And obviously, like you said, there are facets of that goes into everyday communication. Like, we're not going to stand like a superhero all the time when we're talking to people or when we're playing sports or whatever. But yeah, those are some important things to think about. And then also kind of how that looks or can be perceived by others.
I think sometimes we don't even think about, or we're not aware of how our communication comes across with our body language. And something that might be kind of small, but I notice with myself a lot is like when I'm talking to people, sometimes I just have a habit of like crossing my hands, like crossing my arms.
Yeah.
And then I'll notice it and I'll make myself stop doing that. And it can be one of those things when then you start to overthink it. You're like, where should I put my hands now?
Yeah.
But like that's an example of, and maybe other people don't notice that as like anything, but that's an example of something that I'm being very purposeful with at the moment and trying to like nearly get out of that habit when I'm talking to people, like just take up a bit more room when I'm talking.
But I mean, if you think about the crossing the arms, that's closed body language.
Yeah.
So if I am talking to you and you're closing your body language, that's not going to be as inviting as someone that, I don't know, has their hands on their side or at your hip, I don't know, wherever you would have your hands. So if you're talking to someone, that might mean that, oh, Sienna seems a little closed off right now. Like, we pick up those signals, even if it's not something that I'm like, oh, Sienna doesn't want to talk to me, like in that moment, but subconsciously we pick up those things.
Yeah.
But going away from that, let's talk a little bit more about performance and how you can use it as a separator in your performance. And I think something that really stands out when you watch people perform, whether you are the one with the powerful body language or not, it's a lot of the time it's very easy for us to tell that, okay, they're going through a rough patch right now in their performance.
Yeah.
So maybe we're dragging our feet, our head is down, we're throwing our hands, like we're making ourselves small, we're slouching over. Like playing soccer, if I or my teammates saw the other team behaving like that for whatever reason, that builds your confidence, because you're like, okay, they're not feeling good right now, let's take advantage of this.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess with it being a separator, it's nearly about being aware of your body language. Yeah. And you can use it as a separator by purposely choosing to have powerful body language, even if that's not necessarily how you feel.
Yeah. Absolutely. And with the powerful body language too, and we'll get more into this, it does increase your confidence, right? Like, it's linked to increased confidence. So then thinking about that as well, if I am carrying myself with powerful body language, that's allowing me to be more confident, and my opponent might see that, oh, Sienna is looking composed and ready, and like nothing is really getting to her. That can also work in your favor. Like, I think about handball especially. I think it stands out so clearly in an individual sport when all eyes are on two people. So if one person is maybe, they are getting frustrated, it's very visible. Like, you can really tell. Obviously, sometimes people might say things or whatever, you can hear it, but we can really see it, especially when there's only two people. And I think you as a performer, you have a very composed body language, and it doesn't look like things are getting to you ever, really, to be honest.
Even though I'm screaming inside. But that perfectly takes us to our second point of how it can be a separator. Body language is one of the few things in the performance area, or in anything we do, that is 100% within our control if we're aware of it.
Yeah.
Because instinctively sometimes we might have our head down, we might throw our hands in the air after a mistake. But if we're aware of that instinct and wanting to do that, then we can control our body language and purposefully do something else.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are times when I'm playing handball and obviously I get frustrated, but I will purposefully make it look like, oh, makes no difference to me that I just hit my serve into the ground. Like I hear the crowd go, oh, and I'm just like, oh, delightful.
You're fooling no one now.
I know. But like, I do that very purposefully because I don't want my opponent to think that I'm at all fazed by anything that's happening.
Yeah. And of course people are different in the way that they might express their body language. Some people do get more frustrated, and you are like the opposite of that. You're very composed when you play. But it is interesting, and like when that type of thing happens, I even think about the World's Final or those games, how people are talking in the crowd. Oh, it's like, oh, no, it looks like X, Y, and Z, they look frustrated or whatever, And it's like, well, we have no idea what Sienna is thinking or what anybody else is thinking when you're playing, because we're not inside your mind. But we're making those assumptions based on the way these people are looking.
Yeah.
Right? So I think I feel like most people can probably relate to that. They're watching something, sports or whatever, and you can see that, oh, I don't know, it looks like it's getting to them, or the opposite.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think about like watching like some of the biggest sporting events, like the All-Ireland final, for example, and like when someone gets a big block in hurling and then they like start roaring and you're just like, they're pumped.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like they're like super hyped up, and you nearly feel like that person, that team has momentum. And like that's just a construct. We're just kind of making that up by when we're like observing what they're doing. So it's a very interesting thing to watch, just people's body language in their performances.
Yeah, and I think about a personal example with soccer that I thought about now when we were talking. really thinking about how composed you are, and then how there was a time in my life when I wasn't very composed at all playing soccer. No, it wasn't that bad. But I had a tendency to throw my hands in the air a lot.
Yeah.
And it's not something that I had really thought about until I went and played college soccer in Texas. And my coach was like, "What are you doing? Like, stop throwing your hands. Go get the ball back." And I was like, "Oh my God." I didn't even think about the fact that something happened and I am looking up into the sky, throwing my hands up, and the play has continued.
Yeah.
And he's like, "God can't help you. Go get the ball." I'm like, "Okay." But it's one of those things that I didn't even think about.
Yeah.
But now in hindsight, I'm like, "Oh, I looked so silly. It's
Yeah,
so
you did.
dramatic."
Yeah. The reason why it's a separator in terms of the control is there's so many things that happen in the performance area that are going to take you by surprise, things that you cannot control.
Yeah.
So that's why, by knowing and being really purposeful with the things within your control, like your body language, then you can use that to your advantage instead of sending maybe messages you don't want to send to your opponents.
Yeah, or coaches.
Yeah.
This is another example from soccer here now that one of my coaches would say that he would on purpose watch the bench when he was reviewing footage because he wanted to see how engaged are they, what are they doing, do they look like they're paying attention, and obviously he's only basing that on their body language. And I thought that was very interesting. And I think about how you are perceived by others by the way you're looking and how you're carrying yourself. So if we are playing a team sport, for example, and you want to be selected, if you're carrying yourself in a way that, I'm not going to say like just confident, but maybe you're not throwing your hands or kicking the ground, like all those things, that's probably going to work more in your favor. That you keep your chin high, you're keeping your shoulders back, those things, and you keep working.
Yeah.
So another way how you can use it in that controllable way to be a separator. And I think something that's really important here too is that, so body language a lot of time can be subconscious, that we might not think about it, right? Because it's just innate, we just do it. So really thinking about, okay, there are gonna be moments in your performance that you feel more confident, so you are probably gonna act more confident. But what are the moments where maybe we are nervous or we have doubts, what ifs, all of those things, maybe mistakes, etc. What is our body language in those moments? Because those are the moments where it probably matters more. The other team just scored a goal. Okay, how are we going to get back here? Are we going to drop our heads or are we going to keep them up?
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to do these great things when everything feels easy, everything's going well. And it's harder to do these things when it's more difficult. But it's nearly more important to be purposeful with doing those things in those difficult moments so you can bring your performance back to your level.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's interesting there, they use the word great for this. And when you think about it, it's not great at all. It's just tiny things, tiny details that makes a difference. Isn't it?
It's true.
Yeah, like it's not a big thing that we're doing or trying to do. And I know you just threw that word out there.
Wow.
No, I'm not.
I'm just gonna not say anything else in this.
No, I'm not coming after you because of that. But like the reality is that keep your head up.
I'll do my best.
Yeah, no, but you know what I'm saying? We're not asking about making a game-changing thing here.
Yeah.
Those tiny details really is what creates those great moments.
Yeah. And research shows that it is those tiny details that can make a difference. So in having powerful body language, in having powerful body language, we can actually help increase our testosterone levels, which is associated with higher levels of confidence, and decrease our cortisol, which is associated with our stress hormones. Well, it is our stress hormones, so it's associated with stress. So simply by holding a power pose, we can actually help ourselves feel more confident when we don't. And we can help ourselves calm down when we're feeling stressed. So one of my favorite examples to use when we're working in groups with people is there's a great scene on Grey's Anatomy where Amelia Shepherd, before going in to do brain surgery, she stands outside the operating room in a power pose And one of the other doctors is
What are
like,
you doing?
what are you doing?
Yeah.
And then she literally goes into this spiel about how research shows that
Yeah.
taking up this pose can help increase your confidence and help you stay calm. And yeah, that's a great like example of using it in another domain. Like we're obviously mostly talking about sports a lot of the time, but like if you feel nervous before giving a presentation, you know, go to the bathroom and take 60 seconds to stand in a power pose, like literally in the cubicle. You don't have to do it in public if you don't want to. And yeah, it can make such a difference. And it is something, it's tiny. You don't need anything to do it.
No,
like you just need to remember to do it.
Yeah, and when you were talking about that, and I think about the power pose, I think about Cristiano Ronaldo. If you look at him before he takes his free kicks, he is standing in a power pose. Like he's taking up space, and then he does his deep breath, and then most of the time he scores. I don't know, but he scores a lot.
I actually think most of the time he doesn't score free kicks, but whatever.
Yeah, probably not, but that's something that he does before every free kick, you know.
And watching him do that, I genuinely believe that he genuinely believes he's going to score every time.
Of course,
even though statistically people miss most of the free kicks they ever take.
Yeah,
you know, so that's like, you know, watching Cristiano Ronaldo, he always seems filled with confidence, and like he always has big power. Not always, but a lot of the time, powerful body language.
Yeah.
And regardless of what you think of him as a player, like that's something that's very evident in watching him, is that body language.
Yeah, and I even think about his celebration when he scores a goal.
True.
You know, like it's so evident in that. But that's just because that was one of those athletes that just stood out to me when it came to the powerful body language there. But yeah, there's so many benefits of it, and we might not even think about it.
Yeah.
So then it can be your separator by tapping into those things.
Absolutely. And we love to talk about research.
Yeah.
And research, there's actually specific research papers on different sporting environments, and specifically one that stands out to me is in a controlled environment with penalty takers. I don't know if they were all penalty takers, but in the situation they were all taking penalties.
In soccer, right?
In soccer, yeah. And one group was told, like, purposefully, you're going to have powerful body language before you take the penalty. And then another group was the control group, and they weren't told anything. They just were, take your usual penalties.
Yeah.
And the people in the first group who purposefully did powerful body language had a higher rate of success than the other group. Obviously, we could go into all the variables there, but if we just look at it simply, like that could suggest that the powerful body language, because you have increased confidence and maybe even like, I think, increased focus in that moment, like you increase your chances of executing, especially closed skills like a free kick, a penalty kick, a serve. You increase your chances of being successful in that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, especially if we're talking about those things, like make it a part of your routine.
Yeah.
You know?
Definitely.
To do that. A deep breath, powerful body language, then you go.
Yeah.
You know?
I even think on a personal level with that, the research I do inside my mind of my opponents, like there's so much that I take in when I watch my opponents play or when I'm playing my opponents, like every time they look down after a mistake, or every time maybe they don't get back into their powerful receiving serve position, or every time that when they're going into serve, they just seem a little less like in it. Like that kind of spurs me on.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel like, you know, I have the edge here. So like there's so many instances where like everyone is observing you and your body language, even if, you know, my opponent might have their head down, but they might just not be, they might be filled with confidence.
Yeah, of course.
But in my head, I get a confidence boost because I think that they have their head down.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's helping me in that moment. So like, even if you might think, oh, I have my head down a lot, but I don't actually have low confidence, that's great. But then thinking about the message you're sending to other people, like, are you filling them with confidence because of your body language?
Yeah. Yeah. So there's two parts there, right? One, what's others' perception?
Yeah.
And then two, your own perception of yourself. So I think that with purposefully, making yourself big, using that powerful body language, you create almost like a feedback loop for yourself in a positive way. So like, I am taking up space, I am making myself feel more confident. Maybe I do something and I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes me feel confident. So then that loop continues. Yeah. So we keep doing that. So I guess, there's so many reasons. Like, we could talk about body language for a long time.
I know. And it's so funny too, because
she's not done. She's not done.
It's such a tiny thing. Like, when someone asks about sports psychology, we typically wouldn't be like, oh yeah, here's the main topics. Body language is one of them.
No.
It's such a small aspect of, it's not even psychological, like, it's physical. It's a physical thing you're doing. We're just talking about being aware of it. And it can have such an impact. I think that's fascinating.
It is fascinating.
Yeah.
That's why it's a separator.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know we say it's not a big thing. No, wait. We're saying it's
not a big thing.
But it is.
But
still.
it can have a big impact.
Yeah, but think about the fact that it is 93% of our nonverbals.
That's true.
Well, a part of it. Because obviously the tone as well. So it is a big thing.
Yeah.
But that's why, we talk about we can't read your mind, but we can read your body language. And that gives us a lot of information and data. So I suppose a few takeaways for you listening today. We're going to wrap it up before Sienna keeps going.
Okay.
Number one is, okay, well, how can you use powerful body language?
Body language?
Body language. So to wrap it up, before Sienna keeps talking, number one, how can you, on a personal level, use powerful body language to your advantage and make it a separator for yourself? And two, considering, well, what are some moments that maybe it's harder to do those things? So building that awareness. When are the moments where maybe my body language is not showing confidence the way you would want it to? And then start to implement those things.
Yeah. It's as simple as that.
It is as simple as that.
We talked for like 20 minutes just to say that.
Yeah, I know. Amazing. We're good at this.
And the most important thing to remember is to keep using the space in between.